Hey guys, this is Will with an early morning live draw, and I'm going to be drawing Cyborg from the Teen Titans. I kind of laid out some general stuff at the beginning so that way I could make sure to have this laid out to get this going quicker. Because as soon as I get done with this, I'm actually on my way to work. So I wanted to make sure I got this done like I had promised last night. If you didn't get a chance to check out the video from last night, I did Night Thrasher from the New Warriors, which is a Marvel kind of idea for the Titans. In Marvel, you really didn't see a whole lot of teenage characters get together until the 90s, really. I mean, you had teenagers in Marvel comics, but you never really saw them get together and do a whole lot. But anyway, so this is Cyborg. This is Victor Stone. Victor Stone was an athlete who actually, if I'm not mistaken, played in Gotham, played on the football team in Gotham City, or near Gotham City, and was in an accident. And when he was in his accident, he ended up getting hurt really bad, and his father was an experimental scientist. So of course, his father was like, "Well, I gotta try to do something to save my kid." And so he put this experimental technology on him, basically made him into a cyborg. And so initially, when you first see him, they kind of carried this origin from the comics into the actual Teen Titans cartoon that they did. And he ended up going out one night with his cybernetic parts. It kind of felt like he was a monster at that point. It didn't feel like anybody would, he knew he couldn't go back to the life he had, which he was a very promising athlete. But yet his dad was very much the scientist, and so his dad really didn't care that much about his football playing because he felt like it wasn't something that was needed in a world where heroes were. He actually talks about that in the comics. He talks about that in Teen Titans as well. And I'm not for sure. I know in Justice League War, they brought it up, the animated movie that they did. And then I don't remember that happening in the actual movie Justice League. Because they really didn't go into his origin a whole lot in Justice League. When you had all these people you had to introduce, it's kind of tough to, go into the guy that, wasn't even really, a part of Justice League at that point, I guess. But anyway, of course they had to go recruit him, for the team in the movie. So I'm not a big fan of his portrayal in the film, uh, to say the least. I mean, I kind of felt like, there were a lot of things they kind of mishandled Cyborg as far as being a member of the Justice League, and then, there were certain things they did that kind of was just like, really, really, that's the direction y'all decided to go. But anyway, so yeah, Big Cyborg is a cybernetic being. He basically has crazy levels of technological skill. He because he's a cyborg, he has this ability to tap into a lot of technology. And they've even gone so far as to have him show up in his own book a few times. And I believe the last book they created a clone of him, so to speak. They created a system that was similar to his, rather. And so they were able to go in and do some different things. And so he had to fight against that rogue system that was out there. He did not want to. He did not want to be thought to be the same thing because it went out there claiming to be like him in every way, and of course it wasn't because his systems. The beautiful thing about his systems is that they're ever evolving. I know in the Justice League War and the newer Justice League comic that they did, they basically advised that his technology actually came from the mother boxes on Apocalypse. And so a lot of the stuff he did, that's kind of when they rebooted his character, they kind of gave him the origin that his father used apocalyptic technology to save his life. And so that's the reason why, even in the movie, you see this thing occur where he basically taps into the technology of Darkseid, and he's able to go in and predict where uh, mother boxes are going to explode and come out, and different things like that. So, but another fun, thing about him, of course, he was on the Teen Titans cartoon, where a lot of people were introduced to him. Was on the Teen Titans cartoon that was out for years, and so he was kind of the fun-loving guy, and he had an expression, And don't worry, because it's in this drawing as well. I'll get to that. And it's funny because he said that like all the time. Of course, people are just like, "Oh, that's cool, the cyborg." He says what he says. But it was also the fact that it was an expression that he was able to use that kind of set him apart from the rest of the Titans. And I always thought that was kind of interesting how they decided to go that route with him. So, but anyway, Cyborg, one of the coolest things about him as a teenage superhero was that, when the new Titans came aboard, he was kind of one of the team leaders. Him and Starfire were kind of one of the team leaders. And so that's how they came to be. That's what they did. They basically helped the younger guys really, focus their abilities and stuff. They were the ones that when, ever something went down, they were the ones that were the adults in the situation, whereas, like Robin and some of them were more of the kids. And so that was how they kind of handled that. And I thought it was really neat that you had a co-lead on a team that one of his biggest issues, of course, is accepting who he was, accepting this new role that he had, but also not knowing if people would respect him because he wasn't all the way human, which, again, kind of feeds into the whole, storyline he had, which had to do with the fact that he was born a normal person, thought he would be accepted as a normal person all his life, and then that accident that occurred, and it's actually an accident where he lost his mother as well. It was an automobile accident, and and that was another issue that he had, like with his father. He's like, well, you could have saved my mother, and you didn't, but you saved me. Why did you save me instead of saving her? And so there was a conflict there in that regard. And so Cyborg, like I said, has all these crazy abilities. He can transform his, transform his arms and stuff into weapons if he needs them. He has a rocket pack sometimes that he'll turn on, and he'll have that, and he'll use it when he needs, to fly or whatever for short distances. He has hydraulics in his legs that he can use and leap short distances and things like that. So he's just an all-around technical person, and he's really loyal, to his friends, to those who's there. I did enjoy it whenever they did end up adding him officially to the Justice League. I believe back around 2007, 2008, they did that addition to the team where he became a full-blown member of the Justice League. Because I thought it was about time that a person of color was on the Justice League as part of your Big Seven. Because I always wondered why it was. Everybody was either, on the Justice League, everybody was either white or everybody was, or people were Martians. Which, John Jones technically could be considered as black, I guess, because his alter ego, John Jones, in a lot of the comics is black. But, of course, when you're green, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to do this instead. That's a little bit different than actually being a black male. And so to see Cyborg finally get on the Titans, go from the Titans rather, to becoming a part of the Justice League, I thought was pretty awesome. So that's one of the things I enjoyed about him as a character. He's definitely evolved. I believe at one point in the Flashpoint paradox, where Flash goes back and ends up accidentally, I say accidentally, he ends up accidentally basically creating an alternate reality. Because he's the Flash and he can do that kind of thing if he's not careful. And Cyborg in that book, he is the kind of the leader of the Justice League. And so that's what he does. I thought that was really cool that they bumped up his stock a little bit, and then he becomes a member of the Justice League for real. So I thought that was really neat how they kind of introduced him as a leader of the team. So yeah, Cyborg is definitely a member of the Titans, definitely been a member of the Justice League. He's been in the animated stuff. He's been in a lot of different things. He's been all over in the DC world, and I'll tell you, as far as a teenage character goes, you don't get much more accomplished in the world than Cyborg. So just as a bare announcement, just to let y'all know what we're going to do and how we're going to do the next parts of this, later tonight I'll do the generator and let y'all know who got the comment of the week for the sketchbook. opportunity at the end of the month, and we'll give you all the new list at that point of who I will draw. I will tell you right now, for tonight, I will be drawing one of the Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I have an idea who it's gonna be. I'll let you come tonight so you can see which one it is. But it'll be one of the Ninja Turtles. Will be our character tonight. So I kind of figure I wanted to go a branch outside of the main two worlds for a little bit. Kind of wanted to do a little bit different for it. I've been doing all Marvel DC this week, so I thought, well, let's branch out a bit today. Let's go into some more indie type stuff. So, oh, and the expression. I don't want to forget that. So we'll end the video with this. So until the next time I see you guys, be blessed, be a blessing to somebody. And to quote Cyborg, Booya. Take care, guys.